Hola comunidad, hi everyone, and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Dianira Cavazos and I'm a licensed professional counselor and mental health therapist from the state of Texas, specifically the Rio Grande Valley or El Valle de Texas. In this video, I'm going to be teaching you how to do deep diaphragm breathing, and I'm really excited to share this with you all. As a Mexican American and Latina, I recognize how important and crucial it is to have tools and ways for us to care for our mental health. We need that foundation so that our community knows how to care for itself and how to care for each other. Because when we do learn these things, we create generational healing and health and wellness that we can pass on for generations to come. And when you think about it, that is so exciting, and it's what we all want deep down when it comes to our families and our loved ones. Pero no hay como ayudar a otros if we don't also take time to care for ourselves. And so I hope that this channel and this video gets to be one of those stepping stones where you can start to learn how to care for your mental health. I'm going to be teaching you things that I teach to my own therapy clients because I really believe that we all deserve to have access to mental health care tools and skills because those are life-saving skills. So whether you're curious to learn more or you've just been experiencing a lot of anxiety or panic related symptoms that you've been really struggling with, maybe you've also just been experiencing symptoms that are confusing to you and you wouldn't know to relate them to anxiety. So one of the reasons why I tell my clients that it's extremely important to learn how to properly deep diaphragm breathe, because my own clients will let me know once I teach them and learn how to do it, they'll say things like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that this was how I was supposed to breathe, or I didn't know or realize that I was breathing with my chest and not with my actual diaphragm. And so just learning this can make a huge difference in your mental health care already, especially if you've been dealing with different symptoms of anxiety or panic attacks. So first of all, let's just take some time to learn a little bit. So when we're babies, o sea, recién nacidos, newborns, we already know how to properly deep diaphragm breathe. So naturally, we don't come out of the womb breathing with our chest. We come out of the womb belly breathing. So you'll see a little baby's belly rise and fall, and that is the way that we are meant to breathe, using the diaphragm, which is the stomach region. And the diaphragm very much acts like a little parachute, like a globito. If you're ever at a piñata blowing up a balloon, like picture that when it comes to your diaphragm is just blowing up and then releasing. So for much of our early lives, we are properly breathing unless there's some kind of medical condition that's impeding that. And as we grow up, it starts to become a lot more common for us to start breathing with our chest if we didn't learn how to properly breathe with our stomach. So it's very important that if you are a parent, that you teach this to your kiddos, because what they don't know, you know? So it's very important que nos tomemos el tiempo to teach our kiddos how to properly breathe, about their emotions, but we're gonna get into all of that later on in this channel. So the response of needing breath can be triggered by any stressor that we're encountering or anything that our body ends up viewing as a stressor, as a threat, and so our body is designed to respond to that. So when we enter what's called a state of fight or flight, which means that our body will either fight for us or run away to survive. And both of these can be different types of survival skills depending what we're encountering. And so when we're stressed, naturally our body starts to create what we need in order to approach that conflict, that stressor, whatever it is that we're experiencing. And so when we notice that that is happening, it's very important to learn how to slow down the breath and do deep diaphragm breathing. When you breathe in and inhale, your diaphragm starts to contract. And gradually it starts to trigger what's called the parasympathetic nervous response. And if you're like, Dianira, what the heck, ¿qué es eso? The parasympathetic nervous system is responsible for stress relief. It's basically your body's relaxation response. So when you think about it, that's really cool. We have a part of our body and our nervous system that is created to help us relax, which is awesome. So you can utilize deep diaphragmatic breathing in the morning when you wake up, before bed when you go to sleep, or during the day if you notice that you're starting to experience these symptoms of anxiety or panic. Because when we do this, we start to become preventative instead of dealing with every crisis that comes up. We're not allowing our body to get to that point when we create a ritual for ourselves that is grounding. I recommend to my own therapy clients to focus on just slowing the breath, not holding it, because when you hold your breath, it just sends even more signals to your body to stress out. because you are in survival now and it is trying to protect you. And so it will start to create more of what you don't want in your body. And so what we want to do is just slow down the breath. Remember that, because we're going to go into me showing you how to do it. So the sympathetic nervous system is then in charge of your fight or flight response. It's truly intended for survival purposes. So it naturally causes stress so that your body can begin to tense up to get ready to fight or to flight, to protect you. It's meant to help you react to danger. So if you're running for your life, you want the sympathetic nervous system to kick in. But if you're going about your everyday life and you're feeling stressed, anxious, worried, tienes preocupaciones, la angustia, that's when it's time to slow down. And you have to take control and teach your body that it is okay to slow down and create that level of safety. And so some of the ways that you can know that your nervous system has relaxed and that you are more grounded is some people start to yawn. Some people start to get like a little bit of watery eyes because they're so relaxed. Their body starts to loosen and feel a little bit like goo. It just feels way more relaxed, and you feel those muscles just relaxing instead of tensing like they were before. So if you've ever randomly experienced like certain tension throughout the day and you're confused because you didn't work out, you didn't do any heavy lifting or anything that would require that, anxiety itself or panic can create that tension like we talked about. If your body recognizes that you're stressed, or if you're dealing with an anxiety disorder or something related that is causing too much of this in your body. So ya que aprendimos un poquito, let's go ahead and actually get into how the heck do we do deep diaphragm breathing. So step one is to just sit somewhere where you're comfortable. You can be standing, you can be sitting, you can actually also be laying. And when I first learned this, I actually laid down, and I really like doing that, but it is very flexible. And so you decide what feels a bit more comfortable or accessible to you in the moment. And I like to recommend to my clients to just signal their body that they're going to start doing this by rolling their shoulders a little bit. So that's what I personally like to do. I like rolling my shoulders a little bit and kind of shaking out my arms, shaking out my hands. So just roll and start to kind of feel yourself ease into what you're about to do. So next, what you want to do is locate your diaphragm. So that is going to be here in the stomach area, and you can't really see it because I'm holding it below the camera, but I will add a little diaphragm and picture for you to see. So I have this hand placed on here. It doesn't matter which hand you want to use, but one on your diaphragm and then one on your chest. You won't always need to do this, but I like recommending this, especially at first, for clients to just be able to see, am I using my chest to breathe or am I using my diaphragm? And you'll be able to notice if your shoulders are rising, which is what we don't want. And you'll also be able to notice if your diaphragm is elevating as you're breathing, which is what we do want. So this is just at first kind of like having training wheels on. Some clients really like this and it feels comforting for them regardless of how long they've been doing this for. So with deep diaphragmatic breathing, we do not want to be elevating our shoulders. So like I ask all my therapy clients, I want to ask you, take a deep, slow breath for me. And I just want you to take some time to just first see what you're naturally doing. So take a nice deep, slow breath. And now that you have, I want you to take a moment to observe what you did. How did you breathe in that moment? Shoulders should not be elevating up and down. Chest should be relaxed. And so do not freak out if you do this. Even a couple times as you're practicing, if you keep doing this, it takes practice, especially if you haven't done this ever, if this is your first time doing something like this. So let's get our training wheels and put them where they should be. And let's go ahead and take a nice, deep, slow breath in. And I'm going to be showing you how to do it first. So I'm going to breathe in through my nose and I'm going to breathe out through my mouth. All of these things are very important to do, and I'll go ahead and put some information on screen for you all of why it's important to breathe in through the nose and then release through the mouth and what this does. Todo tiene su propósito and it's all connected, and I love that. So I'm going to go ahead and show you all how to do the deep diaphragm breathing. I'm going to go ahead and breathe in. And that is how you do it. And these are some little side tips for you all. So if you are feeling extra panicked or extra anxious, something that you can also do to orient yourself to the present is pick something to stare at. And so behind me, I was staring at a little artesanía that I have back here, and I just fixed my eyes on it and I focused on that while I was breathing. So if you have something around you at a restaurant or at work or at home, try to fix your gaze on something. Something else that I recommend for therapy clients is to close their eyes and actually visualize a balloon inflándose and deflating. And that can really help, especially if you notice, whoa, I'm having trouble actually using my diaphragm even though I'm practicing. And so visualizing can be really helpful. So closing your eyes and picturing that balloon inflate and deflate as you're breathing. And so if you start to notice that you're breathing really quickly, like you're not actually slowing down your breath, that's your body letting you know that it's still not grounded. And so each time that you breathe, try to challenge yourself to slow down even more. And even when you think that you can't, slow it down even more without holding your breath. So what that would look like is something like this. Let me try to get it even slower. The best way that I can describe this to you all, if you've ever done any kind of weightlifting or running, any strenuous activity where you're using your muscles, when you tense up your muscles and then let that go, there's this big sense of relief that you get. And the same is true when you slow down your breath. You start to notice that you're getting this release versus if you're just doing something like which is what we don't want. We want to slow it down, because remember, when we are breathing very rapidly with our chest, that is for survival. So it is actually increasing that anxiety for us to survive. And what we want to remind our body in that moment is that we can take control and we can relax and we can create safety. I've taught this to my clients of all ages. So this is something that is accessible to all of us, and always consult your own mental health therapist to see if they want to make any modifications for you specifically. But I feel like this is a really good foundational tool that everyone should know and should have access to. And that is it for this video, comunidad. I really hope that it was educational, that you got to learn a lot more. Definitely let me know down in the comment section if you knew this exercise. Maybe some of you did. If you've never heard of this, or if you learned something new from this video, I would love to talk to you all and chat with you all in the comment section. I will be creating a separate video that will just be the guided diaphragmatic breathing. And so I'm going to just start off that video guiding you through it, but I wanted to make this video first to just educate you on what it even is, the importance of it, how to utilize it. So this is going to be the little informational video. El que sigue, that one is going to be just the guided breathing for 10 to 15 minutes. If you're ever somewhere and you want to just press play on that video and listen to it as many times as you want, or you want to have it to share with another friend, so that one's just going to be the guided one for you. Cuídense mucho, and I will go ahead and talk to you all in my next video. Bye, comunidad.